Hey guys, it's Julia. As you may have noticed, I am not in my room today. I am in the great outdoors, aka my backyard. And today, as a matter of fact, I'm also prepared to do my book talk because I have not only a sheet of paper with notes that I took today, but an article of the summary of the book on my iPad. So I'm prepared today. And the book that I'm prepared to talk to you guys about today is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. Clockwork Angel is book 1 of the Infernal Devices trilogy, which, in case you did not know, is the prequel series to The Mortal Instruments, which is City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire. I listed them all. I'm pretty proud of myself. Clockwork Angel is about a girl named Tessa Gray, and she lives in New York, but she goes over to London to see her brother, Nathaniel Gray, who sent her a ticket and stuff and was like, you should come here. And she lived with her Aunt Harriet until her Aunt Harriet died, and her parents are dead, I think, so that kind of sucks. And he went to go get a job there, and he finally got a job there, so he sent her stuff. So she goes over there, and there's these two people there waiting for her, and they're called the Dark Sisters. And she's like, where's my brother? And he's like, oh, you know, he told us to come get you. Here's a note signed by him that says that he came to get you. So, you know, obviously she just got into the carriage and went with them. And then fast forward to 2 months later when she's still chilling with the Dark Sisters, who have been teaching her to do something which she didn't know she could do. And she's kind of a prisoner, so obviously her brother did not have anything to do with that. Stranger danger, people. Stranger danger. Her special ability is the fact that she can turn into anyone. Like, she can just change her appearance into anyone. She can get into those people's thoughts and stuff like that. So, it works better if she's, like, has an object that the person has, like, owned or touched or something like that. But she's learned how to transform without an object. So, this is my knee. Say hi. Dark Sisters taught her how to do that, so they want to use her for something. And then one day, they come to her and are like,
okay, tonight's the night you're gonna go marry the Magister. And she's like, who's the Magister? This makes no sense. I don't know who this is. Stranger danger.
Leaves. She tries to escape from the person who's taking her back to her room, but she can't because the person who's taking her back to her room is actually a robot of death. But then, who should appear but a guy? This guy's name is William Herondale, and he is a shadow hunter. And in case you did not know what a shadow hunter is, it is a demon hunter. And they go to the Institute in London, and she learns all about shadow hunters and what she is and why she can do what she can do and blah 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 blah. So it goes on like that. So that's kind of how the story pans out. And obviously I do not want to give too much away because that would ruin the point of reading the story. So obviously you should go read the book. Even though this book is a prequel and they're part of the prequel series to The Mortal Instruments, I personally believe you should read The Mortal Instruments first. That being said, I'm saying this because I read it after and it just works, and it's kind of fun because you're like, oh yeah, now that makes sense. And this was published after the fact. So these were published after the regular book series. So yeah. So, but this is how I'd read it, okay? You gotta follow this. This is Julia's way of doing the Shadowhunter stuff. So you gotta do City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and then read the trilogy. Like this one, the Infernal Devices trilogy, Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess, and then you read City of Heavenly Fire. I'm reading City of Heavenly Fire right at this point in time. There are so many references to this trilogy beforehand. At the Institute there is another boy. His name is James Carstairs, also known as Jem, and Jem is a very, very, very sweet guy. Well, Will, on the other hand, is super, he's kind of like a bad influence, and he's fun and he's crazy, but you can never really know when he's like being serious, not being serious, but if he's going to be great and funny and nice, or if he's going to totally turn on you and stuff like that. So Will's kind of a danger to have around. And I could smell the love triangle from a mile away. You know, there's two guys, there's a girl comes into their lives. So Tessa, who is a very sweet girl as well, she seems very nice. She has a very ordinary life up until the point when she, you know, gets kidnapped by two warlocks. She doesn't really know, she's kind of clueless about the whole shadow hunter thing. Just gonna put this out there personally, I ship Wessa. Wessa. It's a W for Wessa. Which is Will and Tessa, if you don't know, figure that one out. Will and Jem are parabody. I don't think I said that right, but parabody, if that's how you say it, is pretty much these two shadow hunters, they have to be guys, I think, have a bond, and it's like you can pick one, and once you've picked it, you always are with them. So you have this bond, and it's like when they're hurting, you're kind of like hurting, and they're like closer than a brother to you. So in Mortal Instruments, Jace and Alec are parabody, and in this one, Will and Jem are parabody. So yeah, it's parabody, I like to think of it as a very high level bromance. So they're obviously both in love with Tessa, which, you know, strings problems because they're both in love with the same girl. What you gonna do? Except I feel like they don't realize that they're both in love with her. I don't know. I think they're both in love with her, but they don't both realize that each other are in love with her. So they don't realize what's happening or the conflict, or either that or they're just being super civil about the whole thing. Really enjoyed reading about shadow hunters in London, because in the Mortal Instruments it takes place in New York, which is very similar to where I live, which is Canada. So it's kind of like America. It's, you know, it was different. It was obviously weird getting used to the whole demon hunting, you know, thing, but it was more recognizable because it is in a place that I kind of know. It takes place in New York, not that I've ever been to New York, but it's in America, so it's not, the culture isn't that much different than it is here. So this book takes place in London, which I really enjoyed, because if you know me, I absolutely love London pop culture, stars, fashion, you know, all types of things. I love London. I want to go there so badly. And I really liked seeing the difference between shadow hunters in the UK and in the USA, because I thought that was very interesting, the comparison of those two. So this one takes place in Victorian England. It doesn't have a date, it just says Victorian England. Takes place in Victorian England. So obviously the values and things of the shadow hunters, there's things that are similar, but there are a lot of things that are different. So it was very interesting to read the different perspectives on that one. I really liked how I recognized things from the Mortal Instruments. For example, Magnus Bane, the Warlock, was in it. Church, the cat, was in it. Then the last names, you know, Wayland and Lightbody were in it. And it was really cool because it was kind of a sense of familiarity. I think that's how you say it. Another character that I forgot to mention earlier, who I have learned to love, is Jessamine Lovelace. Now, Jessamine is she's kind of like a little spoiled brat, a little bit. Like, she's very careful of her appearance, and she always wants to look really good, and, you know, she doesn't really want to be a shadow hunter. She wants to just hang around. And I kind of thought of her, just thought she was kind of really stupid, honestly, when I started the book. I was like, oh no, she's just a stupid person. She's just gonna ruin the whole book. But I actually really liked her because she is a shadow hunter too, because she's living in the Institute, and she is so sweet. Like, I don't even know. I personally think that Jessamine is one of the sweetest characters, because she's a little stupid, but at the same time she's smart. So she kind of reminds me of Phoebe from Friends, except, you know, Victorian England did, and a demon hunter. Okay, so now in this, I'm just going to insert a couple little things that I want to talk about. So if you do not want to be completely spoiled for this book, I would go away, or mute the video until this picture disappears. Okay, cool. I was reading this last night, okay, and I got to the part where Mortmain comes and he's like talking to them and stuff like that, and then he leaves, and then he like comes back and it turns out he's evil. Like, what? He is just this guy. I didn't see that one coming. What I did not see that coming was her brother being evil. Like, her brother being a traitor. I did not see that one coming, and I cannot get over the fact that Nate was a traitor. Like, I guess it was kind of predictable, but at the same time, he was her brother, and she loved him, and she was so happy to have him home, and she was so worried for him, and it turns out the entire time he was on the other team for Mortmain. Mortmain is the Magister, by the way, not De Quincey, not the vampire. Yeah, Wessa in the carriage scene. So they were going to the vampire thingy, this vampire party, and she's disguised as Camille Belcourt, who is actually a character from the Mortal Instruments as well, but who is a vampire, and they want to like investigate this thing, and he's kind of like, you don't need to do this if you don't want to, you know, it's dangerous, and so many more things, and the way he talks at her, and just the way you can tell that he's looking at her, you can tell he's so in love with her. And that was a scene when I started shipping Wessa. Like, I was like, Wessa, 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 Wessa. It just makes my heart beat. The truth about Jim. Like, the truth about Jim took me completely by surprise. Was that just me? No? Okay, cool. He's dying? Like, he's taking this demon drug, and the demon drug is making him live longer, but at the same time it's killing him. So the more he has of it, the longer he can live, but it's still killing him. So if he was only to take a little bit and then just not have any, he would just die. But at some point, he's gonna die anyway. He just wants to live longer. I was not expecting that. Like, what kind of demon drug is this? What kind of demon drug does this? I don't know. Ugh. Oh, my butt is sore. Tessa was alone with Mortmain, and she threatens to kill herself, and she has the sword above her heart, and she's like, I will kill myself if you don't let these guys go, because Mortmain needed her. And then Will comes running in. Mortmain is standing over Tessa's bloody body, and she's limply holding a knife in one hand. And she's like just lying there, and I had a heart attack. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I had a heart attack. I thought Tessa was dead, and I'm like, this does not make any sense. There are 2 more books, and I know Tessa's in the next book. How can she be dead? How could she have stabbed herself? I highly recommend this book, especially if you like the Mortal Instruments. If you like the Mortal Instruments, go out and get this book, because it is so good, and it makes so much sense. Like, why would you read the Mortal Instruments and then not read this? Like, I don't comprehendo, s'il vous plaît. I love the way it was written. I love the characters, and I'm so excited to read Clockwork Prince and Clockwork Princess. Keep reading. I love you, and I will see you all again soon. Bye. And go away. Sorry guys, my dad is up there. That's why I don't shoot in places where people can publicly see me.